Ian as a weirdo. Today, I am going to be talking a little bit about my list that I started yesterday and what I've done so far as self care goes. And then we're going to be making some stress balls. So these are super easy to make if you know how to do a slip stitch, a chain, and a double crochet. You can do this. You can make it any size you want, and you can make it as big as you want, and it's just so easy. You can use any size hook, any size yarn. It's all good, which I love because that means it's super versatile. So talking about self care. So I got up today. I showered yesterday. So I did not shower this morning, but I did put lotion on yesterday. I brushed my teeth. I changed my clothes. I washed my face and did my skincare regimen. I got out of bed around 8, so I got up earlier than I normally do. It really depends. I either wake up at like 7 or 8, or I wake up at like noon, and there's like no in between. So I didn't have to worry about my alarm. So once got out of bed, I stayed out of bed, which was so hard. I'm not used to having a hat or a cap on, so I keep on like looking up and seeing the brim, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Um, so if you see me like looking up a lot, that's what's going on. I'm not used to wearing a hat, but my hair is crazy, so I figured I would do the world a favor and put on my spooky oogie hat. Um, so I didn't get go back to bed. I really wanted to, and especially because my medicine that I take in the mornings, I have to take on an empty stomach, and I have to wait 30 minutes before I eat. And so often in that time, I'll go back to bed because I'm hungry and I don't want to feel hunger, so I just go back to bed. Um, so um, I didn't go back to bed, turned some lights on, started moving around. I did find myself being a lot more disoriented this morning and feeling like, oh my gosh, so first I made coffee and I forgot to put grounds in. So I literally just made hot water and like hot, dirty water. And I looked at my coffee pot and I was like, why can't I see through my coffee pot? And I was like, oh shit, I forgot to put grounds in. Then I had to go and do it all again and put coffee grounds in. Luckily, I made some coffee and I'm drinking out of my spooky, um, kind of sugar skull esque cat mug to keep it spooky ooky. And uh, I'm trying to move this back enough so you can see it because it's important. Um, so I got out of my PJs, which was something that I felt was like a little monumental because usually I sit all day in my PJs and then I just change into my PJs after I shower at night or something like that. And so I'm just always in PJs. So to get out of my PJs into like, I mean, granted, I'm in like track pants, like not track pants, like joggers. So it's not like I'm like dressed up fancy or anything like that, but I am at least out of my PJs and out of my pajamas and, you know, ready for the day a little bit. It feels like I'm getting ready for the day. Um, and then, so that's pretty much what I've done. I haven't done everything on the list, but small steps of improvement are good. And I'll take what I can get. So I wanted to share with you a pattern that I found. Hi, Daniel. Welcome in. I wanted to share with you all a pattern that I found for a tactile stress ball. So it looks kind of like a brain, which I love. Um, so I want to get a little skull and put this in like that's meant to hold candles or something, and put this in there. so it looks like a brain. I think that'd be really cool. But these are great for people who have anxiety, anyone who deals with stress, which is literally everyone. Um, and they're just nice and squishy, and they get squishier the bigger your hook is, so you can play with your hook size, you can play with your yarn size, you can play with your yarn type. So I imagine if you made this out of like velvet yarn, oh my gosh, it would be so amazing. So really you can do anything you want with this, and it's just a really cool thing that you can kind of pull apart, you can put it back together, and it's just a really nice feeling. I remember that isn't the thing you squeeze. I don't know what you're talking about, but sorry, I have no idea. Um, so, so I'm gonna be selling these on Etsy, but I'm also going to be making some to donate to some elder care facilities for people who suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's, something to keep their hands busy. To that thing in your hand isn't, I still don't, yeah, you squeeze it, yeah. What am I not understanding? I'm sorry. I'm really slow this morning. I've only drank like a little bit of my coffee. So, hi, Tammy. How are you? I'm doing well. I am making stress balls today, and I'm going to teach you how to make them if you crochet. If you don't crochet and you just want to watch, that's fine. This is a great project for scrap yarn if you have just a little bit of a ball left, and you don't know what to do with it. This is a great project for that. It's a great project to donate. It's a great project to sell. Um, your eyesight is bad, so I'm watching. Yeah, it's really easy, and I'll try to describe it as best I can. I'm not going to give a full tutorial because I'm just not that good at giving tutorials, but I will describe what I'm doing as best I can. I'm not going to teach you how to. So all you have to do is know how to chain, slip stitch, and double crochet, and that's it. That's all it is. And you just double crochet your heart out. Um, so take whatever yarn you want. I'm using just yarn from the Dollar Tree. So I already made this out of this yarn. This is just $1 yarn. Now it's $1.25, but prices are going up everywhere. But any scrap yarn will do. I would say that I use probably about half the ball, and this is a 60 gram, 131 yard ball. I didn't make a huge ball, but I find it a good size for my hand. Um, so this is 131 yards. So I used about let me do math, like 65 yards if we want to, call it like that. So I did not do a magic circle on this, and I used a 4.5 millimeter hook because I couldn't find my 5, just to be honest. Oh, wait. That's that's a 6. What in the Sam hell? I wanted to use a 5, but whatever. I tried using my clover hook. I didn't like it as much for this project, to be honest. Sorry, I tried using my furls hook. Didn't like it as much for this project, to be honest. Um, so first we're gonna start with a slip knot for our hook. You can keep the tail short because we're gonna sew it in, and then we're gonna chain 6. I was sharing you out. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. I appreciate that. That's really sweet. Um, I never require that. That's just like a nice thing to do. Thank you very much. So once you have your 6 chains on your hook, you're going to go back into your first chain and you're going to do a slip stitch. So now you have a little circle. And what we're going to do in that little circle is we're going to put as many double crochets as we possibly can fit. And that might be different for everybody. All you have to do is double crochet into that open space. So you're gonna, I'm not gonna describe how to double crochet, just because I'm not that great at doing that. So at describing these things. Um, so yeah, so yarn over, insert, pull through, two loops, and then pull through the last 2 loops. And you're going to keep on double crocheting all the way around your circle, as many double crochets as you can. The more double crochets you have, the fluffier your ball will be. So slip stitch, chain. Oh, I didn't even chain 2, but you're supposed to chain 2. See, this is why I don't do tutorials, because I suck at this. Yeah, I'm gonna rewind a little bit, and after my slip stitch, I'm going to chain 2. See, I messed it up already. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, this is why usually if I do a pre-recorded, that's where I would cut it. Okay, so I know lots of crocheters too. It's just, I, so let me tell you a little story about my uh, channel. So I had a fairly good following. I think it was good. And I took a break for about 6 months, maybe more, maybe 8 months. I don't know. Time was wiggly at that time. I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to talk while I double crochet. So I took a break because I had a mental breakdown. And yeah, you just double crochet around your circle. It's just as easy as that. And you want to just jam pack them in there so you can keep them nice and tight in there. So I had a mental breakdown, essentially. And when I came back, I didn't have really anyone on my channel. And I kind of have had to rebuild what I do have now from the ground up again. Like I'm starting from scratch. So that's why a lot of people who did follow me don't follow me or don't watch my videos anymore, because they didn't turn notifications on, and once I came back, um, no one really watched me. So slip stitch, chain 6, then chain 2. So you want to um, do a slip knot, then you want to chain 6, then you want to slip stitch, then you chain 2. Sorry, I confused you. I told you I'm not great at doing tutorials, which is why I don't even bother. Now you might notice as you fill this circle with slip stitches, double crochets, that your double crochets start to ripple, and that's good. That's what we want. Basically, this is all just rippled, um, uh, rippled double crochets. So that's what we're going for. And if you can work your tail in as you're going, then you don't have to worry about sewing it in or anything like that. So, oh, that's so sweet, Demi. That's really sweet. I really appreciate that. Also, I find that, I'm like vulgar, I make dirty jokes, stuff like that. And there's a lot of people in the community that are not into that kind of humor, and I understand. Um, so I don't want to like pressure anyone who is more, I guess, conservative leaning in their attitude. Um, so a lot of people just don't like my uh, approach, and that's okay. That's fine. I When I came back, I was also a lot more uh, free to do what I want, and I think that that was off-putting for some people. And when I say jam pack those double crochets onto that circle, I mean jam pack those crochets onto that circle. We want a fluffy ball. Like, I'm already starting to see ripples in my work because of how many I've put on here. Let's see, can I fit one more? I think it can fit one more. I'm always like, can I do one more? Okay. So now that you've gone around your circle, you've done as many single crochets as you can, your work is probably looking a bit like a potato chip, in that it's a little wrinkled, and that's great. So we want to go into our initial chain, and we want to slip stitch. So you should have something that looks like a wrinkly donut. And then we're going to chain two to get to the height of our stitch. And then immediately after, so in that same stitch, we're going to crochet 4 double crochets, not counting the chain. So now I have 4 double crochets in that first space. I'm going to move on. I watched others doing and explain the magic knot. That was more confusing. Yeah, so I like the magic circle a lot, but it does tend to break down over time. And um, with this particular project, I wanted it to be very durable so that someone could be a little rough with it and it wouldn't come undone or anything like that. So I like the magic circle for a lot of projects. I do amigurumi and I do the magic circle for that. But and I have found videos that make the magic circle a lot easier because sometimes I just can't do it. If they don't like it, they can leave. Yeah, true. I'm not holding anyone here against their will. So, anyone's welcome to come and go as they wish. And yeah. So, like I said, in our next stitch, we're going to put 4 double crochets. And you can switch colors. You can do whatever you want. You can just have as much fun with this as you want. Because really all it is about that tactile sensation that is really calming to people. So we're going to go around the circle until we get to our chain, and we're going to put 4 double crochets in every single stitch. Now you can see probably why the more stitches you can put in that initial circle, the better, because it just fills it out a lot faster. Did I mention I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook? I don't know if I did. If I didn't, that's what I'm using. But like I said, any size hook, any size yarn, you can make this happen. It really is so versatile. So massive increase, yes. It's so massive that the circle can't hold it, and it literally just becomes a brain. And the great thing about this project is you can kind of do it very mindlessly. Um, so, you know, or I guess rather than mindlessly, do it mindfully, where you don't really focus on the stitch you do. You're just kind of doing stitches as you see fit. If you put five increases in one and three in another, like it literally doesn't matter. It's gonna turn out the same. So just have fun with it. Play with color. Play with hook size, just have fun. Um, it's a very relaxing activity to make, and it's also a very relaxing activity to to play with afterwards. I have been to Coco's before, and I follow her, and I'm supposed to get notifications, but I never get notifications. So I've got to check to make sure I turn them on right or something. So, because I never get notifications. I used to do lives with Coco all the time. I wouldn't do it on her channel. I'd do it on someone else's channel, and uh, but like I'd see her and we'd talk and stuff like that. I subscribed to her channel and again turned on notifications. I just never never see her. And while I'm thinking about it and like I get to the end of a stitch, I'm gonna put a stitch marker in my chain because I accidentally worked over my chain last time I was doing this. I felt bad. So it happens, and literally, like I said, it doesn't matter. Talking about mental health, etc. Like you did earlier, and why are we making stress balls? Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I just want to help people. I just want to, if people are going through similar things that I'm going through, or even if they're not and they're going through their own struggles, I always want people to know that they have someone who will listen to them. And, um, you know, I just, mental health is such a prevailing issue, and I don't think enough people talk about it. My channel kind of crosses a lot of different genres, so I think that that also is why I don't have as many followers. It's just because it just doesn't resonate with a lot of people. I don't know. You know, it is what it is. I try not to get caught up in the numbers. That's one of the things that when I came back, I was like, I'm not going to be caught up in the numbers, and um, that's going to be okay because it's easy to be like so number driven that your identity becomes attached to how many followers you have, and that is really unhealthy, especially for me. So I just don't participate in that kind of um, activity anymore. I just focus on who's here with me, who wants to hang out, and if no one wants to hang out, then that's cool too. I'll just crochet. I'll just be here crocheting. You might be sick of doing double crochets by this point, but we're going to keep on doing them. If you want to change colors and have different rows, I would suggest doing it when you do your slip stitch at the end of a row. So let's say I went all the way around and I was about to do my slip stitch into the next row. That's when I would change colors. And then also sew in your ends or like weave over your ends as you go so that you don't have to worry about that tail. Um, that would be the time to change color. But honestly, I feel like these don't need color changes. I like you can if you want, or if you're running out of yarn or whatever, just like keep going with another color. Doesn't matter. Um, but um, you know, really, you can do whatever you want with these, and they're just so easy to make. You can make them so quickly. Things. Take a little sip of coffee. And another thing you can do if you want to make a really giant one is you can take a this is so I got this pattern off of I don't know her name but I looked up crochet stress ball and this she was the first person who came up, so that's where this pattern came from. I didn't make it up. Um, but she said that you could use a hair tie just in a hair elastic and crochet around that, do your double crochets around that, and it creates a giant one. And then you can twist it up, you twist it a couple times, and it becomes this really giant stress ball. Or you can untwist it and then it works as a hair tie. So it's really cool, just the possibilities of what you can do with this. Sorry, I really need coffee. My brain is like you know the dial up sound? If you're old enough, you know the dial up sound. That's literally the sound that's running through my brain right now. Um, oh, that's so sweet. You're so sweet. What did I do to deserve you? Oh. So let me see if this yarn has a color name. So this is the color garnet. Um, and I have a bunch of just yarns that I've never used. I was just gonna like kind of collect them. Um, I get like three um, sets of two at a time, just based on like the color coordination of what they've got going on. And so I probably have like 12 ish balls of just yarn. And if I can make two of, you know, each. Hi, Jenny. I was just thinking about you. How are you? We're making stress balls. This would be really easy and really fun for you. I'll kind of go back through the instructions. So if you wanted to make them, you can make them yourselves. There is a YouTube tutorial. If you search on YouTube, crochet stress ball, this will come up. It's like the first video. I think she calls it like a fidget ball or fiddler ball or something like that. Um, but it's really easy to make. All you need to do is know how to slip stitch, how to chain, and how to do a double crochet. And that's in American terms. It's a treble crochet in UK terms. I'm not sure what you used, Jenny. Um, basically, you uh, do your slip stitch, you chain six, and you slip stitch your chain into the first chain on your hook, or that you did, sorry. And then you do as many double crochets as possible in that circle that you've created. So, as many as you can possibly do. And the more, the better. And then you chain two. Once you're done with that, you slip stitch into the first one, you chain two, and you do four double crochets in every stitch all the way around. Then you connect and keep going with four. I remember dial up. Yeah, that's what's going on in my head right now. Just beep, 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 beep. Also, if you're interested, I made this hat. This is a hat by a YouTuber named Liza Walters, Lyza. I'll type it in the chat. All I did was search crochet baseball hat, and she, I believe, was the second person to come up. And she did this pattern, um, and I just added different colors to it, and made it my own. But it's learn how to crochet a stress ball. Yeah, it's super easy. Um, So, yeah, even if your eyesight is bad, if you can crochet, and that's why it's so great because you can use a really large hook so that your stitches are larger, they're easier to see, and you still make a beautiful product at the end. You don't have to do this tiny little, project that's hard to see, that strains your eyes. You can do it, however you want to do it. You can use any hook size, you can use any yarn size. The bigger the better with hooks. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter, which isn't a big hook, but I didn't want to use a 6 for some reason. I just was averse to it. Um, so do whatever you want. That's the moral of the story. Do whatever you want. So you should start to see some significant waves in this row. We're only on row 2, but we're already seeing significant waving of our stitches. It's really cool because this is a project that you could even do in like a cotton or something like that, and you could make it into like a loofah. Like this would be a perfect loofah if you made it bigger. And I don't think that acrylic would be the best, but you do you, you know. I have a scrubby yarn that I want to try to do this with. I hope I have enough yardage, but it's a pretty small ball. I got that like rub, soak, scrub, whatever yarn from Joanne, and I wonder if that'll make a nice loofah with this pattern. But I'm enjoying making stress balls too much to worry about my own bathing habits. Plus, I have like a bath brush and shit. So I'm still crocheting around, doing double crochets until my hands bleed. Luckily, I'm working with red yarn, so they won't know. This would be great if you have variegated yarn that you don't know what to do with. Just make a stress ball. Um, honestly, the possibilities of this are totally endless. Um, and I love that about this project. It's just you can get as creative or as basic as you want, and you still have a fabulous product at the end. Um, so I'm reaching the end, just a couple more stitches till I get there. I think I put 5 in that one, whatever. Like I'm not even looking back. I just like, okay, that's fine. It's such a relaxed project. You could watch TV, you could, do whatever you want and still be making one of these, which I love. I love a nice, relaxed project because so many of the things we do, we've got to count, we've got to, you know, if we do an increase, it's got to be placed at the right point and all that stuff. And this, you just go for it. Okay, so now that I have crocheted 4 into my last stitch, I've reached my stitch marker. I'm going to undo my stitch marker. I'm going to go into that chain and I'm going to slip stitch the 2 together. Like I said, if you were going to change colors, you should slip stitch with your new color um, instead of the old color. So I'm going to chain 2. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to put 4 double crochets in every stitch, including the stitch that I just chained from. So And remember, we're not including the chain. So we want to do 4 double crochets. This is easy, right? It's such an easy project. I'm going to make sure to put my stitch marker so I don't run over my chain again. If you do end up going over your chain and you're in a mode where you're just in the zone, you run over your chain, whatever. What you can do is, so you'll end on a double crochet and you can go 2 stitches away and slip stitch into that stitch, then it'll help that double crochet lay flat. And then because it doesn't really matter what this looks like, it's just a squishy ball for stress. So don't worry about perfection, just do your best. That's what I did when I went over my chain. Is I just, instead of trying to find where it was, I just kept going. It's a super easy project, very beginner friendly. As long as you know how to do those basic stitches and elements that I was talking about, you can do this and you can make a ton of them. And you can make them as big or as small as you like. Again, depending on your yarn and your hook size, um, you can really, just the possibilities are endless. You can type and crochet without looking. Wow, that's incredible. I can barely crochet by itself. Trying to see how much coffee I have left. You can see with all these bumps and ridges and everything how easy it would be to work over your chain. So that's why I recommend using the stitch marker if that's something you want to avoid. Otherwise, you could just go around and around and around and stop when you want and tie off, and that would be that. It's comforting when you realize that what you're doing, like, it doesn't really matter how you do it. Just like do your best and relax and have fun. I think it's relaxing at least because I hate counting. I don't know about you guys, but my ball is turning out great. I'm so happy with it already. I'm not even I'm not even halfway done with my third row, and I'm already super happy with it. If you start to just, if you're wondering if you're going in the right direction, just bunch it up and check it out. It I used to host chat rooms for 10 plus years. Oh, that's so cool. I have spent many a time in my youth in chat rooms. So that's probably why you can type and crochet because you're used to that. It's just nice having people to crochet with. I just like that. Low pressure, just like everyone just doing their own thing. It's just nice. So my last one, I did 3 rows. I think that I probably will try to have a fairly consistent size, so that when I sell them on Etsy and stuff like that, that people kind of know what size they'll be getting. But because I skipped that chain, let me actually do 3 rows and make sure that it's the size that I want. Um, I imagine it'd be beautiful with 4 rows. Um, So how many rows? So that really is up to you. Like I said, I did 3 rows on about 3 rows on this one right here, and I found that it was a perfect size for me. So I'm gonna do 3 rows on this one just to make sure that it's a good size. But I can already feel that it's like right now, because I'm halfway through the third row, it's a little small. Oh, you talk crafts on chat in the chat room. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, so 3, 4 rows, whatever you feel is good for your hand size, or the hand size of the person you're trying to make it for. Um, this is also a really great tactile toy for people who are on the spectrum, um, and just people like I want to donate to um, elder homes just so that people who, like I said, who are suffering with dementia or Alzheimer's can have something that stimulates their body as hopefully well as their mind. Um, that's a cause that's very near and dear to my heart as I lost 2 grandparents, one to dementia. Well, I've lost all my grandparents, but one to dementia and one to Alzheimer's. And they're very ugly diseases that I wish we could eradicate. So anything that I can do to help that population thrive is very important to me. This is great for kids. I've heard that some people, if your dog is like more gentle or like your cat, like you could so where you have the circle. I'm kind of unfolding this a little bit. So where you have the circle, I'm putting my finger through it. You could tie a bell and you can squish it back up and it could have a little ball in it, so you would have more sensory activity. So you'd have the sound and then you also have the squish, and cats would love that. Dogs might love it. I know some dogs, they said some dogs like to kind of nose it around and roll it around, so and they can bite into it and not use your very nice yarn. You just use some cheap yarn that you have, and they love it. So, oh my gosh, how many uses are there for this, right? It's crazy. So, I'm really excited about this project. If you are making this someone who, or if you are making this for someone for a person, I would suggest using softer yarn. I find that just yarn is a nice softness. It's not scratchy or anything like that. I definitely wouldn't use like wool or anything like that. You also want to be concerned about potential allergies, so maybe natural fibers you stay away from, um, or like animal fibers you stay away from. Just softer yarn. You don't want to use something super scratchy. Um, if you're working on something for a human, you want them to have something soft that can release that stress that they have. So um, just be mindful of that. Yeah, chat rooms were a big part of my adolescence. As someone who identifies as now I identify as pan. I used to identify as uh, gay. It was hard to find people in my area who understood what I was going through and understood kind of the challenges that I faced as a gay person or a queer person. I'll just say queer because it just encapsulates everything. So, So, oh my gosh, my phone is blowing up. My wife is like snapping me. But uh, chat rooms were really important in my life because they allowed me to meet people who just knew what I was going through. And it was just an incredible experience. I still have friends on Facebook that I met in chat rooms when I was a teenager. So it is really incredible the connections that you can make with people in chat rooms. Granted, they were a little bit different than craft chat rooms, but still, it was a nice experience. I love this project. It's so beginner friendly. I always feel like I'm closer to the to my stitch marker than I am because all of the ripples. I'm like, oh, I can feel the stitch marker. I'm like this close, and then I'm like really this close. Like, oh shit. Okay. And if you're a faster crocheter than I am, which most people are, you could easily pump out one of these in 30 minutes. For me, it takes about an hour. I'm just not that fast, but um, that's okay. I feel like this one's gonna be bigger than this one. This other one. Yeah, it's already bigger. That's okay. Good to have a consistent size. Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. Some people don't need them. I find that if I'm working in the round and I don't use stitch markers, I'll often work over my chain just because I get in the motion and I just move right through my chain. Um, so, and especially in like a wavy project like this, where it's so easy to mistake this edge of the round with a bump that you're crocheting into. Um, so I don't. I actually use them quite a bit, but I don't use a lot of them. I usually just use the one. Um, but everybody's different. If you don't need it, don't bother. Man, am I tired of doing double crochets because I literally just finished this one and then now I'm working on this one. See, we can always already see that this one's a little bigger than this one. That's what happens when you crochet over your chain. So once you reach the end, you want to do a slip stitch into your initial chain, and then you want to tie it off. So to tie it off, I find the easiest way is to so you do your slip stitch, you do one chain, and then you cut your thread and you pull the chain loop through, and it creates a perfect little knot. And then you can sew into the sew your end into your ball. Hello, welcome in. We're making a stress ball just like this. It is made out of yarn, and it is great for any relieving any stress or anxiety. You can squeeze the hell out of it, and it still retains its shape. You can stretch it out. You can put it back together. It's also great for people who are on the spectrum, people who are suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's. Really, just anybody. Dogs, cats. Um, just anybody. It's a great little toy. So that's what we're making today. If you want to rewind and watch how to make it, I've described it twice now. The first time I described it wasn't great, but we made it through, didn't we, Tammy? and and that is what we are doing. We're almost done. I mean, oh man, it's gonna take forever. It doesn't take that long. It's actually a really short project. If you're a faster crocheter than me, you could probably get this to pop this out in 30 minutes. Um, I am a slower crocheter, so it takes me about an hour and some change to get it done. But it is a really easy project if you know how to slip stitch, chain, and double crochet. Then you can do this project, and it's just an easy project that benefits so many people, including yourself. You can use scrap yarn, you can use any size hook you want, just whatever you're comfortable with. And yeah, it's really fun. I'm using Just Yarn, which is the premier yarn that is at Dollar Tree. It is $1.25 a skein, and I have managed to make two balls out of it. I'm getting pretty low on yarn here, but I think I'm going to be able to finish the two balls that I've been working on with just 131 uh, yards of um, of yarn with for two. So it doesn't use a lot of yarn. Great for scrap yarn. Nice, easy project. Great for beginners. Other keywords. I always think I'm further along, and then I realize I'm not. Yes, we did. I'm gonna after this, I'm gonna work on my amigurumi, and I'm gonna have to switch over my brain from double crochet to single crochet, and that's gonna be interesting. Isn't it weird when you like do one stitch over and over and over and over again that like your muscle memory just like becomes so committed to your muscle memory that doing any other stitch is like so hard to do. You're just like fighting yourself to do the right stitch. At least that's what I find. But I'd rather do a double any day over a single. Single just takes too long. Amigurumi is so slow, but the price we pay for beauty. For those of you who don't know, I am making a jack o' lantern voodoo doll that is going to be. I think it's probably going to be about this tall. The head's going to be a jack o' lantern, and the body's just going to be a regular body. But I did that instead of a regular voodoo doll because um, I had orange yarn, and I was like, oh, what if we made the head a pumpkin? My wife was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Um, so now I'm gonna make the head a pumpkin, which making a pumpkin super easy. If you were already gonna make a sphere, all you do to make it a pumpkin is you use the yarn and you start wrapping it around the pumpkin, the sphere, and it starts to get all of those distinctive bumps that pumpkin has. So it's a very easy project to do and great for the fall. Not necessarily the voodoo doll, but I mean the voodoo doll is great for the fall. But uh, making your own crochet pumpkins is super easy, and what I'm gonna do apparently. And what I'm going to do with the voodoo doll, because I didn't just pick a voodoo doll just because it's cool, because I mean, it is cool, but um, I wanted something. So I am really inspired by another YouTuber named Altnots, and she made a birthday cake. Um, because she's doing a Coraline theme this year, and she did a birthday cake, and she stuck her furls hooks in it, and I was like, "That's genius!" Because furls hooks are notoriously hard to store because they roll around everywhere, but they're also very delicate. You know, if one drops or something like that, it has a high risk of breaking. So you want to take good care of them. Also, they're expensive hooks, so you know, take care of things that are expensive. You know, you want to do an amigurumi. Um, I There are so many great amigurumi patterns that are out there. I think that I don't want to speak for your ability to see, but I find that amigurumi is quite hard to see, um, just because you're using a smaller hook, and your stitches are small depending on what you're making. So you might want to make a larger amigurumi instead of trying to make something small. That would be my advice to you. But again, I don't know your situation, and I don't want to presume to know. So that's just my advice because I find that it can be very difficult to see. And if you want to do amigurumi, go do amigurumi. Go have fun with it. I I I used to like doing it. I don't like doing it as much, to be honest, anymore, just because I really hate counting. I really hate counting. If you don't like counting, amigurumi is not for you. But everyone should try it once, you know. And the stitches are, often the simplest stitches. You know, it's usually single crochet and that's it. So it's not like it's technically hard. It's just sometimes the pieces can be so small. Like for a while, I was making like little people that would be like maybe 4 inches tall, and I just freaking finding the stitch was just so, oh, it was so hard. Um, Even when I wore my glasses, which my glasses don't really um, magnify that much. They're they're mostly for close up view. Who, Ian? You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific than that. Um, yeah, I'm a little confused. Hey, Darsha. I had an appointment and missed your stream. Sorry, hope you're having a good morning. Oh, no problem at all, Darsha. You are allowed to have your appointments. I will allow it. Welcome in. I am making a stress ball, a squeezy little stress ball. They are very easy to make. If you want to rewind and watch how to make them, they're very simple. And I am making another one in the same color, and it's so squishy. I accidentally crocheted over my chain, so this one's kind of wonky, but it's still fun. It's still great. I'll use this for myself because I have stress and anxiety, so I will use this. Um, but it's just a great little squeezy stress toy that is super simple to do. Great, mindless, meditative type of crocheting that I love to do. And you can use scrap yarn to do it. I think the first one I did, I only used about 65 yards of yarn. I'm using Just Yarn from Premier from the Dollar Tree, and just having a good old time with Tammy. Hugs back. fidget cubes all the time, and she will love that. Yeah, so I actually learned from a YouTube video. So if you want a good YouTube video, you can look up um, uh, uh, crochet stress balls. But if you want like a moderately decent, kind of bad tutorial on it, you can rewind this and watch it. Um, it's not the best, but it does the job because really it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you make a bunch of squiggles, it's fine. Hi, welcome in. There's an end in sight. I can see it. I can taste it. I'm definitely using a bigger hook next time. I don't think 4.5 is um, the best choice. Maybe I'll go 6 millimeter. Oh, you know what this also looks like? Coral. Like a brain coral. It's still in the works. I'm still working on one leg because it's that huge. Basically, the leg is like a little bit bigger than the water bottle. Uh, so it's pretty large. And did I mean to make it that large? Not really, but it's gonna have some really sturdy legs to uh, really sturdy legs to stand on. So, at first, I was thinking of having him sit down, but I think standing up will be cooler and more of a traditional voodoo doll. Because when most people think of voodoo dolls, they think of two pieces of fabric, front and back, that are stitched together at the sides. So I was thinking of doing a seam. Um, just with black yarn up the sides of it just to kind of look stitched together. Who was it you were talking about earlier? Not Liza. So so I did watch a video. You didn't do the 3.5-inch pumpkin. It would have been huge. Yeah, I'm glad I did the 3-inch. Even then, I was like, damn, this is big. It's got big old thighs. Um, so, uh, so I watched the video of the person who um, originally made this ball, and I don't know her name. I could look it up real quick, but I'm lazy. Um, so she did. So if you just look up crochet stress ball, this is the first thing that pops up, and she will give you really clear instructions on how to make it. Like I said, if you want not the best instructions. You can go back and watch my video. Um, is that who you're talking about, Temmie? Oh, I also talked about alt knots, and alt knots is a crocheter and an artist who she designed what inspired me to do the voodoo doll was the fact that she made a birthday cake because she's doing a Coraline theme, which I've never seen Coraline, so I can't even explain what the reference is. But she did birthday cake, and apparently this was a free pattern from Furls. It might still be up there on making a birthday cake, and she stuck her Furls hooks in the cake, and I was like, that's a genius way to hold your hooks. So that's why I want to make a voodoo doll, because I want to stab in my hooks. I thought that would be a cool way to display and hold my hooks. Because I'm getting two more on the way. I'm not gonna be one of those people who has like a ton of furls hooks. I just kind of want one in each size that generally use, and then that's it. I don't want duplicates because unless the only way I would want a duplicate is if I could do the is it the Odyssey ones, the metal ones? I would do those in a heartbeat, but I don't need more resin ones. Um, they all work the same to me, so I don't need. And like, and honestly, like, not every project warrants a furls. Like some yarn, it just squeaks by, and I'm just like, yeah, squeaky. And then other yarn, it's like, oh my gosh, just like butter. This is perfect. This is great. So I want the metal ones. Oh, cataracts, and you're waiting for surgery. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but I hope the surgery helps repair that and give you your eyesight back, um, or as much of it as you can have. I don't admittedly know a lot about cataracts. You saw an art piece that is a complete seawater aquarium with entire coral reef and fish. Everything was 100% crochet. That sounds so cool. I saw I'm on TikTok, and I saw uh, someone who made, what was it? It might have been like jellyfish or seahorses or something like that, some underwater creature, and she had a setup where she hung the animals from like a net or something, and there you go. Um, and she took like a fish net and used it to grab. It was like at a festival or something, and she used it to grab the little animals, and it was so cute. Um, so I spelled it out for you. Alt, as like in alternative. She does a lot of like gothy type of stuff, and she's fantastic. She does a lot of really cool stuff, and she is very fast. I'm like, how do you do all the stuff that you do? It's crazy to me. But then again, I'm a slow crocheter, so it's become my state of mind that everyone is faster than me. Love making jellyfish and angelfish, pufferfish. That sounds like an amazing display. Yeah, and honestly, it was a really good way for people to be interested in the product. I think the whole experience made people want to buy it more. And I was like, that's genius to make an experience out of this. A pufferfish sounds so cute. Oh my gosh, I can't even stand it. Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, Temmie. So, uh, her name is Alt Knots. So, A as in apple, L as in lick, T as in tree, and then space, knots. So, K as in kite, I as in Ian, uh, O as in oh shit, T as in tree, and S as in serpent. I hope that was helpful. I'm always like, what word do I use? Oh, I never know. So I just make it kind of weird. So I'm wearing my Hocus Pocus shirt, which I'm a very obviously a very big fan of the original Hocus Pocus, and I have a controversial opinion about this upcoming movie. For those of you who don't know, Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out this fall, and I am not looking forward to it. I know I should. I know in my Halloween spooky little heart that I should, but I'm not feeling the fantasy. And am I the only one? Is it because, like, it took them 30 years to make a you know, second one? I don't know. But I just I'm not wowed by anything I've seen yet. Um, I don't know. We'll have to see. Cause like the first movie was so good, so iconic. Apparently, it's got a really bad rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which boo you whores, because it deserves a fantastic rating because it's a great movie. Um, but I just, I feel like everyone's super excited about this new movie coming out, and oh, you've already connected. Oh, great. Yeah, I love her too. Um, so so yeah, I don't know. Some things should just be left alone. And I don't always have that opinion. Occasionally they come back and they capture that magic again, but it's rare. It's rare. Just leave a good thing alone. Leave an iconic movie, Halloween movie, alone. Just let us have that. Or you could have done it literally 20 years ago. Why didn't you do it 20 years ago? Oh, the Halloween Town movies. Oh, I love those movies. I didn't like when they got rid of Marnie, and tried to replace her. That was weird for me, but I do like Halloween Town High and Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, and all that stuff. Oh, I love Halloween Town. I feel like you see a lot of Hocus Pocus like mugs and shirts and stuff like that. You don't see Halloween Town stuff. I wonder why. because that is a good series. I have seen the octopus. Oh, I love the sock guy. Oh yeah. When everything that goes missing, you're like, oh, there's a sock, the other sock and stuff like that. Oh yeah, he's funny. Um, yeah, have I seen the octopus crochet amigurumi? So I've seen some. I know that a lot of crocheters right now are working on that. I know that Daniel is. I know from Paw Ply Yarns. Um, I know that Froggy When a Knitting, Jen, is doing her octopus. Um, so I know a couple people who are doing it. They're doing two different ones, but yeah. So I've seen some, and then I've seen like little ones too. Like they were talking about how many suckers they should put on the tentacles, and I think Jennifer said it was like over 200 for hers, and hers was a smaller one. And then Daniel's, I think he said it was like 350 or something. He's like, I'm not doing that. I was like, I can't even imagine doing that many suckers. Just the suckers, not even the rest of the thing, but just the suckers. Like, fuck that noise. It's getting so full, it's getting hard to like maneuver around. Made octopi for each of my five grandchildren, at least 1 foot in diameter. Wow, I do use smaller number for tentacles. That is so cool. Um, yeah, I I don't think I love anyone in my life enough to do that, and that's sad because I'm married. But I mean, if my wife really liked octopuses, um, and that was like her favorite animal and something like that. Like I would do it for her if she cared, but she just doesn't care about that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't waste my time with something she didn't like. And then there's no one else really that I would do something like that for. Like I can barely make a bucket hat for my sister, and those things are easy. I've got to find motivation to do things. Motivation's a really hard thing to find when you're dealing with depression and things like that. I've been really struggling with getting out of this hole that I'm in and, um, trying to refine motivation to do things again. And, just to be like a proactive member of society. Um, I Halloween Town, yes. It's a good movie. It's so cute. It's so pure. I just like, I know a lot of people when they think about Halloween movies, they think about scary movies, but I think that Halloween movies can be so much more. And Disney and all of that, like they really showed us um, that there can be these really fun, quirky, weird Halloween movies that didn't need to be scary to be entertaining. 262. Oh gosh. Everything I make is for someone else. I don't think I've kept anything for myself. I started crocheting when I was 7, so many years, but am now learning interesting stitches. That's cool. That's great. But I like to keep something. I usually keep the rejects for myself. Um, or if I finally get a pattern right, I'll keep it for myself because I want to use it as a reference when I'm making future projects. I don't wear a lot of my crocheted stuff. I did make shorts for myself. That's probably the extent of things that I keep for myself. Um, but most of my stuff is with the intent to sell. So, okay, have a good doctor's appointment, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for spending time with me. Everyone's having a doctor's appointment today but me. I had mine yesterday, and then I'm waiting on to get in to another doctor. Um, I got to fill out all this paperwork and insurance forms and all this crap. They make it so hard. It's just like, can I just show up and give you my insurance card? Barbie clothes that I made, dress. Oh, that's so cute. I'm almost done. Oh, this feels amazing. Oh, this feels so good. Oh, it's so squishy. It's so much squishier than this one. This one I fucked up on, but it's okay. I'll use it for myself. But like this one, oh yeah, that's a squish. 4 granddaughters. Wow. So I think that 3 rows is the magic number, at least with my hook size. I wonder if you would need to do more rows if you use a bigger hook because you would get less on your starting chain. Um, so that might be something to consider if you use a larger hook or larger yarn. You might want to consider doing a 4th row. Just depends on how it feels, how you like it, all that stuff. Okay, I don't know if the connection is which yarn are you using again? So I'm using Just Yarn. This is the premier yarn that is available at Dollar Tree. I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with it, and I figured, hey, cheap yarn, it's soft, it's nice, but there's not a lot of it. This would be the perfect project for it. So that's what I'm using, but you can use any yarn. This is just a 4-weight value yarn. I think it might be their Premier Basics, really. Um, but yeah, it's just a really, I mean, it's a nice yarn to work with. Honestly, it splits less than Premier Basics for me. Um, but you can use literally any yarn. You can use velvet yarn. Um, you can use thicker yarn, fluffy yarn, literally anything. Um, I've got this yarn from Dollar Tree that has, I think it's called Flowers. If you know the yarn, then you might know what I'm talking about. But it's got like little tiny pom poms on it, and I'm like, that would be nice just to have like some texture on the little waves. So I could use that, and like, because I literally don't have three new colors of the Chanel at Dollar Tree this morning. Yeah, like Chanel yarn would be awesome if you wanted to use that. So I mean, it's just like the the possibilities are limitless. I was saying you could put a bell inside because you make a ring. Try to make it so you can see it. I'll put my thumb through it. So you make a ring, and you could put a bell in there, and it would be a great cat toy, or it'd be great for sensory. So you have the squish factor, and then you also have a bell. There's literally so much you can do with this that it's just like insane. Like it's just so cool. Um, so, what I plan on doing, I don't know if I mentioned this before while you were in the building, but but I'm gonna sell these on Etsy. But I'm also going to be making some to donate to some of the pom pom yarn. Have to figure out how to use it. This would be perfect, honestly. Like to have some pom poms on there, like that would be so so gratifying. Um, So, uh, I wish I could say I made up the bell idea. It actually came from the artist who created this pattern. So I don't want to take credit for anything that's not mine. Um, but, you know, make a cat toy, all of that stuff. There's so many different options. This is really such a flexible project that you can just do whatever you want. And you don't have to count, which is really nice. I have in the past sold on Etsy. I don't have any listings right now. This is actually gonna be my first listing in a while, and then I'm gonna have a photo shoot um, with a friend of mine who's gonna, because honestly, like I know I'm overweight. I know I am covered in acne. No one's gonna want to buy anything with my face on it, so I'm gonna have her sell. I'm gonna do a photo shoot with a friend who can wear some of my stuff and sell it. So, but this will be my first listing because I don't need a face in it, and I also have some pillows that I don't need a face for. Um, so you've thought about trying, but was never sure. So the thing about Etsy is, one, uh, if you can do free shipping, even if it means you charge more for your, which if you do free shipping, you charge more for your product, right? Because shipping is expensive. So make sure you know how much shipping's going to be. That's my advice. And then two, Etsy's going to take, I don't remember the exact percentage, but they're going to take a fair amount of your sale from you. Um, so not only do you have to pay 20 cents for the listing, but you also have to keep in mind that Etsy's going to take money from you. And so you've got to kind of back your way into an amount where you actually make your profit and all of that. So it's it's a little dicey. I would just say start by looking at your competition, look at people who are selling similar things, and see what they're charging, and see if you can make your product for the price that they're selling, minus like 20%. I do the same thing. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. I do the same thing. But I see you. I see you. Yeah. And then it's just about advertising, 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 making sure you use all those popular keywords. And there are videos on how to do well on Etsy, and I would highly suggest watching those. Um, so I do know that there is a website, or there's an app called Ribbler, which I think I'm spelling this right. So um, it's like Ravelry, so you can sell patterns and stuff like that. But now you can also sell finished objects. So I don't know what percentage they take. I don't know list. I don't think they have a listing fee, um, but that might be something to look into as well, where you can sell your wares. I would not suggest anything like Amazon or anything like that. You just can't compete with the prices of fake crochet. Yeah, check that out and see if it's something you like. I know that they just started allowing people to sell finished objects, so I don't know if they've got all the kinks worked out. I know nothing about it. I just know that you can do it now, so that might be something to get ahead of. Who knows? I love when little skeins deflate. Like this is like so fun for me. As long as it doesn't knot up. If it knots up, then I start to get real mad. I did a video the other day where I just was untangling yarn and winding it, and I just put like relaxing music over it, and then I just you feel bad for charging for patterns. You shouldn't. It's your time. If you made it up and you worked hard on it, charge for patterns. If you want, you can start at a price. You can always go lower. You can always go higher. Um, don't feel bad for charging for patterns. Honestly, I am dirt broke, and I will buy patterns still because I want to support the artist. I get a lot of free patterns from YouTube, and I mean, I literally got this pattern from YouTube, but I still buy patterns because I want to support the artist, even if I can't buy their finished objects, because those tend to be a lot more. So don't feel bad for charging for patterns. You deserve it. You wrote that pattern. You took that time, um, whereas other people didn't. So you do that. I'm empowering you, girl. And honestly, I've seen some of the simplest patterns, like simple, 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 like um, how to, I don't know, like crochet a flat circle. I've seen those on sale for $1. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Um, I've seen all kinds of things, and those things sell. I mean, people who don't really know how to navigate YouTube or just want to support a new artist, they'll buy that stuff. Just make sure you're using your keywords, which if you were in marketing, you know all about keywords and what catches people's attention and stuff like that. So make it flashy. Uh, make it interesting to look at. Oh my god, we're going on 2 hours. God, I'm slow as shit at this. I was thinking I was doing good. Now I'm 2 hours in. I mean, I've been talking, but I haven't been talking that much, have I? Oh man, I'm just slow. I'm just slow. I don't know if I can charge enough to like make a profit on this, but I do have fun making them, so I'll keep doing them and keep trying to sell them. But my Etsy, if you want to follow my shop, it might all be one word. It might be different, separate words. I'm not sure, but that's me. We're almost done. I've got 3 more stitches to do. Ooh, that takes a long time to go around that circle. Ooh, I can't imagine doing 4. Makes me sweat just thinking about it. I just want it to be as like big and fluffy as possible, but I also want to be done with it and never touch it again. I think I can make one of these a day, like easily. Um, like work on other projects, do whatever, blah 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 blah, and then like do one of these a day, easy peasy. Hey mobs, welcome in. I am literally just about to get off. Um, but I am making a stress toy. So I making a squishy stress toy. This is pretty much the finished product. I just have to bind off and um, oh, did I? Fuck, I forgot to do a slip knot. Oopsies. I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't do that. I'm just gonna slip that anyways. Just kidding. so, so yeah, so this is my fidget crochet toy, stress relieving anxiety ball, whatever you want to call it. It's very, very easy to make. I followed a pattern that I found on YouTube when I typed in crochet stress ball, but I did kind of a how to tutorial on how to make it yourself. This is a great scrap yarn project. I use Just Yarn, the yarn from Dollar Tree, and I was able to make 2 stress balls out of one skein. So this uses about 65 yards of I'm gonna sew in this end, don't worry. 65 yards of yarn. You can color change. You can use yarn that you don't really know what to do with. Variegated yarn would be very beautiful. Um, it's great to it's great for anxiety and stress and people on the spectrum, people who are dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's. I'm going to be selling these on Etsy, but I'm also going to be donating them to homes for older folks so that they can get some stimulation from something tactile. You can also put, so there's like a hole inside. You can also put a bell in there, and so not only do they have some texture to play with, but they also have the sound. So, and you can even give it to your cats or dogs or whatever. So many uses. I talk about them all throughout the video. You guys are probably tired of hearing me say this, but it's just a really great project. I made two. The first one's smaller because I am an idiot. But this is going to be mine, so I don't care. It's great. It's nice and squishy. This one's even squishier. I'm so jealous. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will leave it there. I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I love you guys very much. Bye.